everyone, I'm Holly and I am the maker here at Missouri River Soap. In this video today, I am making Sweetly Clean soap. Now, as I am recording this intro, it's already made and it's right here in front of me and it's gorgeous and beautiful and I love it so very much. I haven't cut it yet, but it is just so colorful and pretty and I think you're really going to enjoy this making video. Now, on a little note, and I probably will repeat some things in the video, but this fragrance is different. I wasn't able to source the same Sweetly Clean as I have in the years past, but it is still a fresh, floral, has some baby powder, it's a little fruity. It is definitely different, but it is beautiful, and I hope you'll like this new version as well. So you can find my products at moriversoap.com. You can find me on Instagram at moriversoap and on Facebook at Missouri River Soap. So I hope that you enjoy this video. I'm going to gear up to cut, but first I will show you the making. So I'll see you back here in a bit. So for this first part of this batch, I do a white layer on the bottom. So I just have a separate batch so that we can go ahead and get that in and let it be solidifying. So we're going to add in a little bit of coconut milk. I don't need much for this part of the batch. I did reduce the coconut milk just a little bit today because I want to be able to work with this batch. So I just have a small amount of lye solution as well. And then I'm going to blend that in. I'm going to go ahead and add in the titanium dioxide. And I have a little bit extra mixed up here. I don't want to use it all because I want to save some for, there's a little white portion on the top. And this does not need to be bright white, we just need to have an essence. I don't know if you can hear it or not, but my husband and my son, they're laying logs on the cabin. So there's some sawing and a generator because our extension cord failed and we don't feel like going to town today. So I don't think you'll be able to hear it come through, but if you do, they're building our cabin and I don't want to stop them. Our weather has been so windy as of late and I just don't want to delay them while they have a little, I don't know why I've pulled all this stuff out and cleaned it off. So I'm going to add in the fragrance oil, and I've never worked with this one before. It is brand new. Now I'm going to have to apologize to my Sweetly Clean fragrance lovers. This is a different fragrance this time. It just has to be, and I'll probably mention that in the intro that I have not filmed yet. It just has to be. I can't get that other one. But this is kind of a fruity floral with some baby powder. It's kind of soapy clean still. It's not the same, but it is a nice fresh fragrance. This is going to give me a good look at how this is going to behave for the remainder of the batch. And I'm going to have to clean all this up because I need my stick blender and I need my I need this pitcher to do my 6 colors. This is nice. I guess I'm just going to let it sit for a moment and we'll see what it's got going on. I may have to blend it together a bit more. Gave it just a little bit more of a blend and it is still quite thin. But I'm going to go ahead and pour it in because I do need a little time to clean up, and I'm not going to move the mold because I have it leveled. And I'm not going for a white here, just the idea of it being white. And my base oils, I use a mixture of olive, coconut, castor, and cocoa butter. And they tend to be a little bit yellow, but during saponification and everything, it whitens up quite a bit. Alright, so this next part of the batch is going to be fairly extensive, so I think I better change my battery and just really get my thoughts together here. Okay, so the first thing is to add in the coconut milk. And I do have a little bit of gloppiness to it, so I'm going to make sure I blend that really well. Now for the lye solution. Just a little bit of reduction, well, I should say reduction in the coconut milk, but adding more water to my solution because I didn't use as much coconut milk. My lye solution does not have lilant today. I just want to blend this to emulsification. I don't have as much batter down in here because it is reduced to take into account the base layer. So I want to make sure I don't over blend it here. I'm not quite sure what I want to pour to, so I guess I'll do 1 liter and see how this is. Quite a yellow base. So I'm just going to pour a little bit extra, and then if I still have more, I think I would like to have less of, say, orange and green perhaps. So I may just give a couple some extra, like for the purple. So let's do like purple and pink. I don't know if this is how I'm going to mix them up, but let's do blue, and that would be yellow. And then we'll see if I have enough from the pot to go into my little pitcher with some titanium dioxide. Yes, I think this is going to be plenty. I don't need very much for the top. Now, another thing I did for this batch is I made it just a little bit bigger so that I don't have to focus on doing, let's do this one. I guess you're not seeing much but the pot. I wanted to make sure that I was going to have plenty of time. So if I don't get them all scraped out, that's what I did so that I could, I made a bigger batch so I didn't have to worry about scraping everything. I don't want this white one to be thick because I still want it to drizzle at the end. So I'm probably not going to do anything to it. It's just a slight accent. I guess I'll just go in color order here, so I keep them together, but I'll probably blend them in a different order. And my micas here today, I'm using, this is Flash Dance from Mad Micas with some Queen of Hearts. And I just mix it with some of my batch oils. This is Electric Orange from Nurture Soap. It's typically my preferred orange, and I will tweak it at times. I was wishing I had some of my mini spatulas. I have not unpacked everything yet. In fact, I was up in the loft digging around today to get out my plastic clear pot for this process. I was like, oh no, I need that too. And I pulled out my bath bomb machine. I still need to go digging around for my molds, and we have to get some attachments for the bath bomb machine, but I'm wanting to put that into use here next week. I have reviewed my previous videos to see how I best accomplished this batch. I've had various levels of success on this batch, this soap that I do, and so I wasn't quite sure how I wanted to do it, because if it's too thick, then I get hot and stressed, and I mean, the batch usually still turns out. But if it's too thin, well, it'll be muddy, and we certainly don't want it to be muddy. It looked like the last batch I made, or maybe the second to last batch, had a lot of titanium dioxide glycerin rivers in the white portion. I've been disappointed by this batch a lot. Many a time. In fact, I'd kind of like to already open the window. It gets very tiring. All this stirring, and the cleanup is going to be even worse. So I'm going to go ahead and put in the fragrance oil. I mixed it separate. Measured it separate, I should say. Oh, I love that pink. That turned out really pretty. Kind of going in color order just so I keep it together. I have screwed this up before and had to scrap things, so I don't want to mess up. They don't have a 6th one of these Anchor Hawking. They're like little 5-ounce cups. Walmart refuses to let me have more than one at a time, but I have one more in my cart. So that should be enough to get me where I need to be. So what I think I'll do, I'm going to give this a bit of a blend. Let's see how I want to go. I usually go this way. And all the way around. Okay, so I have my clear pot here, and because I want the pink to be on the top, I'm going to put the pink in the bottom. I'm going to do about half The last batch, or one of the last batches I did not do it twice. I only did the pour once, and I wasn't loving that quite as much. And this is getting a bit thicker, which is good. Now I want to be careful with the green, because green and pink together make not so pleasant colors. So a lot of times they just go kind of towards the middle. And I don't know, I mean, you can see how it's kind of getting thick. This is actually perfect. It's workable. We'll see what I say soon. And I'm not really swirling it around as much anymore, just because we've got all this orange here. And I just kind of don't want things to go too far awry. So this is where I'm not going to worry about scraping it down all the way, and then I won't lose that time. I'm just going to kind of pour, put in the majority of it, because that's not going to take me much time. And I do want to probably splatter some about. I'm going to pour this in, but also it's very kind of gentle, because I do want some purple to go in first. Oh, I love this spoon. It's so much better than the others. Now here we have this beautiful pot of rainbow soap. Alright, so let's do this. As you can see, it's pretty thick. This is perfection. And this is solidified, so I don't really have to worry about that either. I am just going to kind of get going though, here in the corner. Perfect. I did want it to have a significant purple base, and I don't know if you can see the texture of the soap. That's just because it needs stirred, but it's going to be fine. It is going to be fine. Oh look, there's all that pink. Look how pretty that is. I love that ribbony look. Okay. Looks like could have a little bit of muddiness there, but a lot of times this lightens up. I really don't want to move this bad at all, but I have to move it just a little bit because it's not where it needs to be. So we'll just do that, and then gently scrape. And I'll try to put some in some spots that needs it. This part won't be too big of a deal because I'm going to cover it up, but it is not really modeled. I just blend it a little bit, trying to see where I need to put it. Hate to cover up all the designs, but I do need to get some of this extra soap in. I don't think I'm going to scrape this any further. Would not be in my best interest. So what I typically do then is I just drizzle it a bit, and I don't think I'm gonna scrape it all out because, like I mentioned, there's extra here. I do want it to be this splattery look, so this fragrance is doing well for me. I'm very happy about that. So the white here is just about perfect. I love this. It's so pretty. It's so pretty. I was tempted to go put on a little bit more of the purple, but I decided I kind of like that blue being on the top. Well, I don't want it to splatter out too much. It just kind of seems like a, you know, like a paint splash drawing. I just love, you know, like art. Not necessarily drawing, obviously, because it's paint, but I love that. I just love it so much. Very kind of Lisa Frank, wild and crazy rainbow. Kind of looks like sour cream. But that's alright. It's just a cool look. It's a cool look when it's cut. Good thing I have shoes on. Would be weird not to wear shoes, but that would be unfortunate if I just had raw soap fall on my feet. Alright, I'm just looking because I do like to have some just dollops, not a dollop of daisy. We're not doing sour cream here. Not a dollop of daisy. The edges are going to come off, so I'm just going to leave that, but I do actually have to clean this mess up. Alright, so here we have the new Sweetly Clean, and I'm going to let it just set, covered with a light. I'm going to spritz it with 91% alcohol. I'm going to cover it with cardboard. It's well insulated, so I'm not going to cover it with a towel. And I'm just going to let it set for the weekend. That's what I like to do. I like to soap on Friday. Let it just sit over the weekend before I try to unmold and cut into it. So I'll see you then. Okay, so here we have the slab, and I think it looks quite nice. And I have my splitter here from Smith Creek Studios. And we are just gonna see here if this got muddy. The sides are a little bit muddy. That's normal from the way it pours into the mold and how it kind of, wrong direction here, how it kind of moves along the side of the mold. Okay. I cut a piece off the side first. So I like it to have a sneaky peek. Oh, it's looking pretty good. If you remember, the purple did kind of slosh up on the side. Let's see what I want to do with that. So I'm really interested to see what this loaf is going to look like. It shouldn't be that purple, but I mean, if it has to be anything, it might as well be purple. Okay, here we go. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Look at it. It's so pretty. I love to make this soap. I get a little stressed about it because I've had some batches go awry. Oh, that's really pretty. That is really pretty. Let's move that over. Oh, let me show you the top. Look at the top. How spectacular. Just a favorite. Just a favorite. Let's see, are we gonna make it? We are. It smells really good. It's been a while since I've smelled Sweetly Clean, but to my memory, this is very familiar. Very similar, I should say. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. Anybody else, your nose gets so incredibly itchy once you put your gloves on and you refuse to touch your face? I'm so itchy. Does that mean somebody's thinking of you, or is that your ears? And your ears are like twitching or something. Gorgeous. I'm very pleased with these colors too that I got. Since I did not use any of the neons this time, it still turned out quite spectacular. Alright, let's look at here. What is happening here? Oh, I'm just looking at the wrong mark. That's all. Oh, beautiful. I love that blue and the green together. Oh, it looks good. All right, well, that's going to look awesome. So then I have to cut my little pieces here at the end, which I use for samples and testing. I have quite a chunky one, and I will probably end up cutting that in half for the samples. And for me, it's just, I like to have some big bars to use myself. That's usually what I use, are those chunky pieces. We use the smaller ones too, but I tried to save those to send them out as samples for sure. Alright, so I am going to clean up my cutter and reorg, and I will be back to cut this batch. Alright, so this is the loaf that was a little bit more purple on the edge. Oh, it's beautiful. Oh, looks great. I love how that turned out. I love it. Oh, we have a little air pocket in that one. Yeah. There's a hint of muddiness in some spaces, but it's not too bad. It's certainly nothing to squabble about. I got just a hint of ash on this batch. Nothing much at all. I sprayed it quite liberally throughout the process of, like, I made it on a Friday and I sprayed it a couple of different times on Saturday. I don't think I sprayed it on Sunday. I unmolded it on Sunday and let it sit out here and kind of dry up a little bit more so it's ready for cutting. That's nice and hard. Ooh, that's cool. I like all the orange in that one. I'm not usually one for orange, but I'm loving that quite a bit. Now I have just a little bit of glycerin rivers. Not bad at all. Just very, very minute. Yeah, it's not a big deal. This batch was getting fairly warm though, I noticed, and so the glycerin rivers is just a little bit of color migration as it heats up and goes through the saponification process. It's not a big deal. In fact, some soap makers work to get glycerin rivers because they just love the look so much. Just love how this looks. I'm getting ready to be in a bit of a pickle over here, I do believe, because my loaves always hang off just a little bit. You can come on in. I can pause momentarily. Just don't bump my thing. What are you doing? Just walking? What do you think of my, isn't it Butamus?
It's Butamus.
I love it. Smells good too.
What is this soap?
This is Sweetly Clean. Has a new fragrance this year though. It's like fruity, floral, fresh.
Yeah.
You agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Alright, later, dude.
Later.
Stay fresh, cheese bag.
Stay fresh.
Okay, you're back. Oh my goodness, that's squeaky. This one has like a purple swirl right in the middle. I like that. I'm gonna just kind of leave these other ones for a moment so I can get that last one cut. So yeah, you definitely can see I have a little bit of little muddy, little glycerin river. I'm happy though. I'm happy. It's a heck of a batch to try to get just right. It can be quite a pain to have it the right thickness, and like I showed in the video, it starts to get a little grainy, and that's great when it's on its own. You can just stir that back up and it'll smooth out. But when you're doing, you know, an in the pot swirl, or that was an intense in the pot swirl, I guess, it can be a bit of a pain because you can't fix that. Nice, it's so pretty. I did debate changing the white layer, and I was like, no, it's classic, it's good, we like it. So these are not matching up because it's different loaves, because my partial loaves are still over here on the side, so it's driving me a little bonkers, but it's not going to matter in the long run. Some things you just gotta let go. I'm getting pretty good at letting things go. My husband would probably laugh. He's probably like, that's a good one. That is a good one. Oh, I love the top. It's just so pretty. White it just brings it all together. Ooh, look at this right here. It's a very feathery swirl. Isn't that pretty? I really hope these are focusing. Yeah, this is fantastic. This cutter, you probably can see it though it's upside down. Bud on Etsy. He's in Missouri. Makes the best cutters. Love them. I haven't tried a lot of other cutters, but I have tried some. Whoa, that's not good. Ah, it's a little sticky still because it has plenty of water, but I will probably fix that later. And that is just a gorgeous bar too. Anyway, I can plane it and stuff later. These have to go on the curing rack and they will dry, evaporate the excess moisture out. And I'm starting these fairly early, so they should have plenty of time to really have a nice long cure. All right, this one just looks gorgeous right here in the middle. So we're gonna look at the top. Beautiful. And then what does the inside look like? It's more purpley with a hint of a glycerin river in there. Oh, this is interesting. Look at this row right there, that green and the yellow. Isn't that neat? I just love how everyone is so different. It is just good stuff. Good stuff. So I have my little tray here, and I do use aluminum trays because they're the most sturdy, but I don't like soap to even have a thin layer between the aluminum. And so I have these plastic trays, and they are not sturdy enough and do not fit on my trays appropriately. So I ended up doubling them up, which I'm happy with. Gives them a lot of nice, they're nice and sturdy this way. And so what I'm going to do is just line them up, and then it'll go on my curing rack, which my curing rack is getting very full, and I think my soaps going on today are pretty much going to fill it up. But I do have some of my unwrapped soap that has already been listed on there, so I'll just have to take care of that. How much? 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, okay, 13. I usually fit 13 in a row. Oh geez. Oh geez. Yes, they're definitely a little bit soft still, which is totally normal for the light concentration that I used, but you got to do what you got to do to get the batch done sometimes, and then give them time to evaporate that out. We have very low humidity here in Montana. It's 26% in here today, which is about where it stays. Maybe some 30s, but I remember, you know, in Missouri, you were lucky if you got down to 30-some% humidity, and that felt amazing. I just love being able to breathe the air up here. I can go for a walk in the middle of the summer, and it might get hot, but I can at least breathe. I miss Missouri for some things, but not very many things. If somebody said, okay, this is not going to sound nice because I know a lot of people love Missouri, but this is why people love living in different places and why every part of this country is epic and amazing. But if somebody told me I had to move back to Missouri, I would be very sad. I would be very sad. And I know a lot of people complain about the cold here, but if you think about it, I mean, if you like warm weather, that's great. I'd rather be in the cold and then have an epic spring, summer, and fall instead of having just smoldering, sweltering, miserable, humid summers. So it's definitely a trade-off, but with the lower humidity in this country, even the cold is not as cold feeling as it is in humid areas. So I just feel like Montana is a great package. It's a great place for us. We were just talking this morning that we are so happy where we have landed. Our property, the town that we go into and shop at, we've created quite a community already in the short amount of time we've been here, from the property where we're at, and you know, around, you know, we go into town, and you know, we're creating those relationships with the places that we go. The baristas know what we want before we pull up. I'm just getting, you know, just that sense of community, and it's smaller up here, so we didn't really have that in Missouri, so we're just loving it. Just loving it. Alright, so I'm putting the last few on. I hope that you have enjoyed this video. Oh, that one's gorgeous. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and be sure to check out the description box below for information on the sale of this soap. And I hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.